Welcome to a place where loyalty is tested, silence hides betrayal, and one small truth can change everything. Here, nothing is as simple as it looks. Careers collapse without warning, families fracture behind closed doors, and trust is traded for ego and ambition. Each story pulls you into moments of public humiliation and private heartbreak, where younger replacements, hidden affairs, and quiet cruelty reveal how deeply betrayal can cut. These are stories about patience mistaken for weakness, about secrets buried too long, and about power reclaimed when the truth finally surfaces. If you've ever wondered how far betrayal can spread, from the workplace to the marriage bed, or how calm observation can become the most dangerous weapon, you're in the right place. Stay with us, because every detail matters, every silence speaks, and every story ends with a shift no one sees coming. 10 years disappeared in a single quiet moment, the kind that doesn't come with shouting or warnings. One calendar invite, one polite smile, and loyalty was erased as if it had never mattered. Every late night, every sacrificed weekend, every promise of "we're family here" collapsed into a scripted explanation about moving in a new direction. Applause filled the room while something heavier settled in the chest. Betrayal doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it whispers. That same silence followed home. The house felt different, colder, as if truth had already moved out. A husband who once praised dedication now rolled his eyes at exhaustion. Support turned into impatience. Questions were met with defensiveness. Affection replaced by distraction. Patterns emerged too clearly to ignore. Loyalty was being discarded in more than one place. Trust inside a career is supposed to be professional. Trust inside a marriage is supposed to be sacred. Both vanished at the same time, and that coincidence felt too sharp to dismiss. Late-night messages began lighting up his phone, quickly silenced. Business trips increased while intimacy disappeared. Compliments aimed elsewhere started slipping into conversations, careless but revealing. The same language used by the boss, new energy, fresh start, someone who fits better, echoed at the dinner table. The realization cut deeper than the job loss ever could. 10 years of dedication at work mirrored years of emotional labor at home, both taken for granted. While one betrayal was signed in an office, the other was hidden behind shared walls and half-truths. The husband knew about the replacement before it happened, encouraged it even. Shared private frustrations, exaggerated weaknesses, painted a picture that justified the decision. Loyalty had been traded for approval. Sleep became impossible. Memories replayed differently now, each one exposing a crack that had been ignored. Every sacrifice looked less like love and more like convenience for others. Yet, silence remained the chosen response, not from fear, but from clarity. Betrayers grow careless when they believe everything has been taken. What they never understood was how dangerous patience can be when combined with truth, because once loyalty is betrayed in silence, the only sound left is the moment it finally breaks. And when it does, it leaves no room for mercy. The moment the younger replacement was introduced, the room felt smaller. Smiles tightened, eyes lingered, and whispers followed every step taken across that polished floor. 10 years of experience stood invisible beside a fresh face praised for potential. Laughter echoed while humiliation burned quietly, the kind that settles deep and stays. The applause wasn't for talent, it was for novelty, and novelty has a way of feeding fragile egos. That same look appeared later at home. The glance that once held pride now carried comparison. Compliments disappeared, replaced by subtle critiques disguised as jokes. "Maybe it's time to slow down. You seem tired lately." Each comment landed like confirmation that admiration had shifted elsewhere. Youth had become currency, and loyalty had lost its value. Jealousy revealed itself in unexpected ways. A husband who once celebrated strength now resented it. Success became threatening. Confidence was labeled arrogance. The younger replacement at work wasn't just competition, it was proof that age, experience, and sacrifice could be dismissed without guilt. At home, that belief took root. Quiet cruelty replaced partnership. Emotional distance grew while excuses multiplied. The truth surfaced slowly, pieced together through overheard calls and careless confessions. There were conversations shared behind closed doors, stories exaggerated to paint weakness, private frustrations offered up for approval. The humiliation at work wasn't accidental. It had been rehearsed, encouraged, applauded by the one person who should have defended loyalty above all else. Watching admiration shift from dedication to youth revealed more than betrayal. It exposed fear. Fear of being overshadowed, fear of aging, fear of standing beside someone who refused to shrink. The younger replacement symbolized an escape from insecurity, both professionally and personally. Instead of confronting that fear, it was easier to participate in cruelty and call it progress. Anger arrived quietly, sharpened by clarity. The cracks at home mirrored the disrespect at work too perfectly to ignore. Ego had chosen convenience over commitment. Jealousy had disguised itself as honesty, and humiliation had been mistaken for humility. What no one noticed was how closely everything was being observed. Every word, every lie, every careless act of betrayal. Because humiliation may bruise, but it also teaches. And once the lesson is learned, the balance always shifts. The truth didn't explode all at once. It crept out from behind closed doors, quiet and deliberate, revealing itself through inconsistencies too sharp to ignore. A husband who once came home eager to talk now guarded conversations like evidence. Phones face down, passwords changed, laughter saved for somewhere else. Betrayal rarely announces itself. It leaks through behavior. At first, doubt felt unreasonable. Marriage is built on trust, or at least that's what was believed. But trust begins to rot when stories stop lining up. Business dinners stretched late into the night, followed by vague explanations. Names mentioned once, then avoided. Questions answered with irritation, as if curiosity itself were a threat. The distance wasn't physical, it was strategic. Small discoveries became impossible to dismiss. A receipt hidden in a coat pocket from a restaurant never visited together. Emails deleted but not forgotten. A calendar event labeled meeting that repeated far too often. Each detail alone seemed harmless. Together, they formed a pattern of deception carefully maintained. The most painful realization wasn't infidelity itself, but how long manipulation had been happening with ease. The husband had been sharing more than time with others. Private frustrations were handed out freely, painting a picture of dissatisfaction that justified betrayal. Weaknesses exaggerated, loyalty minimized, stories twisted to gain sympathy and approval. What was once sacred became currency. Marriage vows were treated like fine print, convenient to ignore when ambition or ego demanded more. Even more disturbing was the overlap. Work and home weren't separate betrayals, they fed each other. Information shared in confidence was used strategically. Connections crossed lines. Encouragement came from places that benefited from the collapse of stability. It became clear that betrayal doesn't live in one place alone. It spreads wherever silence allows it to grow. Sleepless nights brought clarity instead of tears. Anger sharpened awareness. Every past argument replayed differently, now exposing intention instead of misunderstanding. Love hadn't disappeared suddenly, it had been slowly replaced with self-interest, and the husband believed the truth would remain buried, protected by routine and denial. What was never considered was how dangerous awareness can be, because once the hidden truths surface, power shifts quietly. Observation replaces reaction, patience replaces pleading, and secrets lose their protection the moment they are fully seen. Some doors close softly, but the echoes last forever. Everything shifted because of one small detail that was never meant to be remembered. Buried beneath years of routine and dismissal, it waited quietly while betrayal unfolded in plain sight. Loss had already taken its toll. Reputation damaged, marriage hollowed out, loyalty treated like a weakness. Yet power has a way of hiding inside overlooked truths. The details surfaced accidentally through paperwork never meant to be revisited, old agreements, signatures added during moments of trust, clauses dismissed as formalities. What once felt insignificant now glowed with meaning. Control hadn't been lost the way everyone assumed. It had only been ignored. While others celebrated replacement and freedom, the foundation they stood on remained untouched. At home, the husband continued playing a role perfected over time. Concern masqueraded as kindness, distance blamed on stress, guilt hidden behind charm. What he didn't realize was how transparent behavior becomes once lies are expected. Every compliment sounded rehearsed, every apology arrived too late. The affair wasn't just emotional or physical, it was strategic. Connections were leveraged, private information traded, loyalty sacrificed for advantage. Patience became a discipline rather than a burden. Silence stopped being pain and turned into observation. Each careless confession added another piece to the plan. Texts left unguarded, emails forwarded without thinking, financial decisions made with confidence that no one was paying attention. Betrayers always underestimate the people they believe are already defeated. Loss transformed slowly, reshaping itself into clarity. There was no rush to confront, no dramatic breakdowns to offer satisfaction. Instead, preparation replaced grief. Documents organized, timelines reconstructed, truth aligned neatly with proof. The forgotten detail connected everything, work, marriage, deception, into one undeniable narrative. The husband remains unaware, too focused on maintaining appearances and enjoying borrowed confidence. He mistook patience for weakness, assuming silence meant acceptance. That assumption became the final mistake, because when the moment arrived, there would be no arguments, no pleading, no room for denial. Only facts, presented calmly, stripping away the image he worked so hard to protect. Power doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it emerges from what others were careless enough to forget. And when patience finally moves, it doesn't seek revenge through chaos, it delivers justice with precision. Some betrayals end loudly, but the most devastating ones end with control changing hands. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like. It helps these stories reach others who need to hear them. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful, true-to-life stories where loyalty is tested, secrets are exposed, and patience turns into control. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next twist. Until next time, remember, silence is never empty, and the truth always finds its way out.